Welcome to The Cloaked. We are a collective of inquiring minds seeking answers to mysteries both past and present. Join us on our journey to discover that which remains hidden. And now, on with the show.
Hey, welcome to The Cloak. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce our podcast and explain what we do. We will go over mysterious and unsolved cases, a bit of the paranormal, and of course, conspiracies. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and any other podcast provider. Also, a new episode of The Cloak comes out every Monday, so don't forget to join the conversation on Facebook /The Cloaked Podcast and catch us on Twitter at @TheCloaked_. And don't forget to like and rate us. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends. And now, on with the show.
Watch Predestination 2. That one's a mind fuck too.
Predestination 2?
Mm-hmm. No, Predestination.
Predestination?
Mm-hmm.
Pre-diabetes.
Oh no. You think you have diabetes?
Also pre-hypertension, pre-this, pre-that.
Don't talk to my man.
Alright, triple cheeseburger.
I'm not gonna help you out, bro. Like I eat and then I feel bad for eating something and I'm like,
It's called...
And then they go through food tests, come back and scare you.
Taking a peek. I think it's
to haunt me.
Speaking of hauntings, we'll start off with the Phantom Killer.
Okay.
I am White Owl.
Hi, I'm Sai. This is Hoffman.
It's Pandora.
And the Phantom Killer. Pretty interesting, also known as the Moonlight Killer, or with the crimes, the Moonlight Murders, from Texarkana, right? Now, these murders inspired a urban legend, right?
Oh. The Hook.
The Hook Man, which I mean,
The fuck?
y'all have heard of it, right? I mean, also seen movies kind of loosely based on the Hook Man type of thing, Lover's Lane type of shit.
Common trope.
Yeah, and which this one, it's loosely based on that. So we'll start here with the spring of 1946. I'm gonna go through this real quick. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. Yeah, there's a few, but I think it's very important to review some of these murders because they kind of obviously cross with what we're going to talk about next after that.
The big topic.
The big topic. So, February 22nd, Jimmy Hollis and Mary Jean Larry, I don't know, they were attacked in a secluded road called Lover's Lane. Okay? They survived the attack. So pretty much, the killer walked up to the vehicle, shines a flashlight on them. They believe it's a police officer, right? They're parked at an area they're kind of not really supposed to be there. So the kid Jimmy rolls down the window, right, to see who it is. Yeah, and and so I think he gets shot, right? When they're having the conversation of.
I think they both get shot.
Yeah, they both do get shot.
Yeah.
Which ends up having that Mary runs. She runs from the vehicle after Jimmy gets shot. And she's the one who pretty much got further from the vehicle. Right?
Yeah.
Is that right? So then the next murder was the murder with the attack. But the next one is on March 23rd. Richard L. Griffin and Polly-Ann Moore. They were murdered at another location, another place called Lover's Lane again.
Highway 67.
Yeah, and they died obviously of gunshot wounds. Do you know the specifics of that one?
They were shot in the back of the head. They were both fully clothed. The bodies were found the next morning, March 24th. Actually, it was. They were parked on Robinson Road, 100 yards from the highway.
Yeah.
And they pretty much put it in the Gazette. So, can you help us solve these murders?
Yeah. So it's this, you have an attack and then you have murder, and it's starting to freak out the town because it's something that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? This is a town that is used to not locking up the doors, keeping them open.
Yeah, it's the 40s.
It's the 40s. It's a looser time, right?
Yeah.
And so nobody's thinking that someone's gonna fucking shoot somebody like that, right? Let alone even also fucking go into your house, which we'll go into that later. So the next attack is on April 14th with Paul Martin and Betty Jo Booker. They were both murdered and their bodies were found a few miles apart. They both died from gunshot wounds. Same thing. I think she's the one who escapes, runs down the road, and he follows pretty well and ends up shooting her. Again, pretty gruesome. The next one, May 3rd, Virgil and Katie Starks. They were at home when Virgil was shot and killed. She was wounded but made it to the neighbor's house. Now here's the crazy thing about Katie. So she had to run fucking yards to get to the next. Yes, to get to the neighbors, because that's how fucking far apart.
Yeah, they're not like
these houses are.
Like right
it's not like how they are right now. So she had to fucking run. I believe there was another neighbor that heard the gunshots that then called the police. They believe that the police may have scared whoever had committed these crimes from following her to the neighbors, because it's such a secluded area, and again, these neighbors, they're so far apart. Now there are neighborhoods like that that still continue to be far apart like that, and that's kind of scary, right?
Those rural areas.
Yeah.
Did he mention the saxophone?
The what?
The saxophone.
The saxophone. Mention the saxophone.
So Paul and Martin and Betty Booker. Betty Booker was a saxophone player, so she had a gig with her band sometime that week.
Right.
She had the saxophone with her, and after they were murdered, the saxophone went missing. So about 6 months after the murder, that saxophone actually
turned up. Where?
At a pawn shop.
Continue.
And pawn shop was back then aren't like they are today.
Yeah,
so you can give a false name and still get money.
Right.
So that leads us to possible suspects. But
Right.
we'll get to that in a second. This is all gonna.
It ties in.
It's cohesive.
Yeah. It's a web. I swear. So the killer, right? Let's say, is described as let's see, 6 foot tall white man.
Of course.
Or
with holes cut out for eyes and mouth because he wore a mask, right?
The executioner's mask.
Yeah, an executioner's mask. They believe he may have been young, kind of dark, maybe tanned, maybe around his 30s. Larry believed that he was a light-skinned African. So Jimmy and Mary had no description of the killer because they couldn't remember. But so you have two different descriptions, very different. And here's the thing: when you're being attacked, the last thing you're thinking of is, how am I going to describe this man or individual to the police? No, you're fucking trying to
impossible.
Yeah. Details like that are going to get lost as you're fucking trying to escape. Yeah. And so, like, people say, and this is going to cut right through the other thing that we're going to talk about, but mind you, the details of their description, right? Because this will cross over with what we're going to talk about next.
Okay.
But these descriptive issues are very important because the one individual thinks the guy is in his 30s, the other one's not sure, but he may have been a light African American. So
kind of coincidence.
Yeah. So here's the other thing. The Phantom Killer seemed to attack young couples late at night with a .32 caliber gun. Right. That's another important detail. So roughly about 20 years later, we have another killer. You may have known him as the Zodiac Killer. Right? So horrible name. Is it the same as the Watch? I don't know. So during the late 1960s, 70s, there were 5 confirmed deaths that claimed through these letters that were issued to the police and the media. Right? So in December 20th of 1968, David Arthur Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen were attacked on location known as Lover's Lane, another place known as Lover's Lane.
How many of these places are there?
There's a lot of Lover's Lane apparently. Any lane apparently is a Lover's Lane.
Like any makeout
any makeout spot that has a lot of people off the highway, on the road, off the road, or in a park, at a ranch. I don't know, and literally anywhere.
A ranch.
I don't know.
Lover's Ranch.
Lover's Ranch. I don't know. They both died from gunshot wounds. Anybody know details on that one?
What was the name again?
David Arthur
first
Faraday and Betty
Zodiac
Lou
Killer.
Jensen. Yeah, they were the first official attack. December 20th, 1968.
They're on their first date apparently.
First date.
And
Shit, that's a shitty first date.
And they're planning to attend a Christmas concert at Hogan High School, about 3 blocks away from the Jensen's home. It says right here, the couple instead visited a friend before shopping at a local restaurant. So they were supposed to go.
They should have just gone.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Ironic. So local.
They're kids. They wanted to make out.
They want to make out.
Leave them alone.
Oh, they're going to Lake Herman Road. So about 5:15, that's what it said. Faraday parked his mother's Rambler, I don't know what kind of car, into a gravel turnout, which was a well-known Lover's Lane. So Lover's Lane is a general term. It's not, it's wherever you want to be.
Wherever you want to be. It's a Lover's Lane.
It says shortly after 11 p.m., where they parked at 10:15 p.m., their bodies were found. Oh my god.
Wasn't the male still alive?
Not well.
Because he gave the description of the Zodiac.
One of the.
Before
it had to be him, right?
Yeah, he died. I think he died on the way to the hospital.
Yeah.
Let's see. No, so it was actually Michael Margot. He's the one who survived. These two died first.
Yeah.
The
So
first two died first.
July 4th,
1969.
Michael.
Darlene Theron and Michael Margot drove into Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo.
Yeah, Michael survived while Darlene.
Yeah, so he's the one who was able to give a description of the
So Michael said,
like he was, well, like, what does he look like? It's like a white guy, white male, stocky, 5'9", in his 30s.
Farron was pronounced dead at the hospital, so he didn't make it to the hospital.
No, Michael. Michael's the one who
the second set of victims.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Positive?
Because the first one was Betty Lou and then David. Those people died. And then the second one in 1969, about 8 months later, it happens to be that they're another couple, but Darlene died, but Michael did not.
Oh yeah, he got shot in the face, neck, and chest.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awful.
he didn't live.
That is not good.
Hey guys.
Not Megan.
Yeah, it says Margot, who was Marco Michael. He survived the attack despite being shot in the face, neck, and chest.
Jesus.
He described his attacker as 26 and 30 years old, 195 to 200 pounds, or possibly even more. 5'8" white male with short, light brown curly hair. So I guess that was the first evidence or first description of who the killer was.
Yeah.
Was that?
But I mean, there's no distinct marks, scars, anything that he could distinguish.
So what were the other
pretty
descriptions
broad.
of this that they gave out? That these two individuals gave out?
Well, that's what it was.
Tall, stocky, white.
Yeah, so it's just like a real stocky kind of dude. He's well fed, right?
Well fed.
Short, light brown hair, light brown curly hair.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's when the letters started coming in.
Yeah. And then he got tall.
In August of the following month.
Then he was built. But we'll get into the more descriptions here.
And people gain in these ways.
Well, this is true.
20 years later.
Yeah,
well, that's true.
Yeah. But what I'm more referring to is later on these other murders have different changes in detail and description. But September 27, 1969, you have Ryan Calvin Hartnell and Cecilia Ann Shepard. They were both stabbed at Lake Berryessa. Berryessa? Is that saying that right?
Yeah.
Burnell survived the 8 stab wounds. Jesus. But Cecilia died 2 days later. Damn, that's a lot of. That's.
Wait, so how did they know that they had been stabbed? I'm assuming they're in the middle of nowhere. Were there other people there?
Wait.
This is the one where he calls, right?
The killer?
Yeah, and he writes on the card.
Yeah, he writes on the
He
card.
writes the details that the dates of the other murders and also the last date with not by night on it. Yeah, car door with a felt pen wrote Vallejo 12/20 68 7/4/69.
Yeah.
September 27 69 6:30 by night.
So, according to Hartnell, the man wore a strange costume, a black hood, and a bib, and claimed to be an escaped convict. Yeah. So he told him possibly a fake,
to throw him off.
Tying up the pair, they stabbed them both repeatedly, and then hiked a quarter of a mile to where the pair had parked their car and left a message on the door. Then the message contained, what you just said, the previous attacks, the weapons that were used, and so he signed with a circle and a crosshair logo presents on the letters. About 90 minutes later, someone phoned the Napa County Sheriff's Office and claimed responsibility for the attack. So that was that one. So then you have the Pauline Stein. He was shot and killed at Presidio Heights neighborhood.
He was the taxi driver, right?
He was the unfortunate taxi driver. He was shot to death by his passenger. In the district of San Francisco, the killer took Stein's wallet and keys, wiped down some of the blood from the cab, and fled as police arrived. 2 days later, a letter was received by the San Francisco Chronicle claiming responsibility for the murder. Alongside the letter, the writer included a piece of Paul Stein's bloody shirt, offered proof that he was really responsible. It's pretty ballsy, not gonna lie, pretty ballsy.
And this is a witness to it. The teenage girl actually described him as a white male with light brown curly hair and glasses, leaving the scene.
And they were like, no, we're going to go with the black guy.
It's a black guy.
Of course.
It's the 70s and San Francisco.
Yeah, terrible. But here it is. Primarily because of the letters, the police believe that the 5 murders were committed by a man who called himself the Zodiac. Despite the massive investigation across multiple police departments, the case was never solved. The identity of the killer remains to be unknown. So, I mean, this is botched, really bad. I mean, so there's a lot of books and movies that were made after all these, with a lot of the information that the police didn't really release, but there was obviously the letters. The letters are very important because they are from the killer himself. But what's important about these letters?
Yeah, coding.
They're coded, right?
Yeah, coding. You had
Ciphers.
Yeah.
Weird ciphers.
And so one could assume that this person may have known possibly some language, or what would you call that? Ciphering.
Code
He's a
breaker.
code breaker.
Military.
Yeah, military, possibly military background, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have these letters. Some of these from the Times Herald. You have one that is very different from the Chronicle, and then the Chronicle is very also different from the Examiner. They do have a lot of similarities, which obviously are the dark circles, the filled-in triangles, and the half-filled squares or boxes. There's also the symbol of what the Zodiac used as the logo, and there's also a circle with a slash in the middle. All those are used in. Anybody know where those are used in?
What?
Those,
Circle with the cross.
all those specific ones that I just mentioned. They're used in a very specific purpose.
Maritime.
Maritime. There you
Okay.
go. In the military, they're used heavily. To Hoffman's point, yes, this person had some type of military background. So you kind of have to wonder, okay, then who is this individual? Who is this? Somebody who had a bad run with the military? Someone who just recently came out of the military? This was something that was, and a lot of the investigations that I saw, and some of the docs that I saw, I feel like they missed that.
That's because
something
they don't
that
speak about that.
That wasn't cross-referenced.
But it's also the late 60s, early 70s. A lot of people had been in the military, they had served. So you wouldn't be rolling out too many.
True, but so here's my thing. On the list of suspects, wouldn't you think to cross-reference maybe that information if they had served, or maybe they worked for some company that may have dealt with this type of coding? I'm gonna drop a huge hammer right now.
It's a big thing. You have multiple police departments working on it, right? So
Also true.
Information is not
Information is not given.
being shared.
That's good. Yes.
So a lot of information is falling through the cracks.
Exactly.
So someone may have come up with that idea, but since it wasn't sent
Possibly.
out to everyone,
Exactly. There's no communication between departments. Information gets lost. Possible other details.
It was political
clues,
too, man.
very
People wanted to
political,
find the killer,
social
so
truth,
like you said,
And
no
every
information
department
be-
wants to be the one that they caught
that's the Zodiac Killer. It's like once in a lifetime.
Exactly. Yeah. So now here's the thing that I'm gonna drop. So another big company in this area that dealt with that wasn't part of the military was that dealt with this type of code, very specific.
Maybe.
No, this
A couple.
company. Big name. They would have a lot of smart people.
IBM, Dell, Hewlett
No,
Packard.
Dell did not come out until the 80s. Hewlett Packard. Are you gonna do Apple?
No, not even, bro. Get out of here.
No, it was Lockheed.
Oh, Lockheed.
Lockheed. They had a good amount of their people did this type of specific code. Not only that, they also trained others. And the people that knew this worked on very super top secret projects.
Well, that makes sense because there's this thing recently about Ted Cruz.
Oh shit, what?
Did you hear about that?
No. Go
Ted
ahead.
Cruz being the Zodiac Killer.
What?
No, wait, bro.
But no, wait, hold on. This plays into
I heard
it
about
because
that
if it's
bullshit,
top,
bro.
if it's top secret and you work for Lockheed Martin, time travel.
Time travel.
That's true.
No.
He went back in time.
He looks like the concept drawing.
Yeah.
Like almost, but I'm like, he's not
He's
old
the
enough.
idiot that was able to time travel. That's
Yeah,
Ted Cruz.
unless he's able to turn to his own. Yeah, I mean, it could, I heard about that. I'm like, come on, bro. It could be though. If he's
But
able to
there's evidence.
just
I
evidence.
want to know, like,
Oh no.
It's a GQ. Ready?
Okay, you got it? Seriously, you have this?
Oh man.
there we go. I want to know.
Alright, hold
You
on,
have
hold
it. You actually have this.
on. He kind of looks like the Zodiac Killer, especially if he squints.
Oh my god, let's see.
Pictures will be
Wow.
shared.
With like some couple pounds on him. Yeah.
Picture- yeah, I see that. That's terrible.
Okay.
I think people just dislike Ted Cruz so much they just like
They just
really
want to
him
pin
be a
everything
serial
on
killer.
him.
That's a joke.
Yes, Joe.
The things he says makes him sound like a serial killer.
What is he saying?
So, when I'm away from my family in Washington, D.C., my dinner is a can of soup.
The fucking serial
That's so
killer?
sad.
I have a dozen of them in the pantry.
Oh shit.
That means he's got
And
heads,
two
bro.
bodies.
Yeah, right. In the freezer.
So who says that? I have soup. Alright.
Maybe just guy who's trying to think he's funny. Like a lame ass.
It's Ted Cruz, come on. No one takes him seriously. Until it's too late.
Some two
Oh, shit.
Like shine the flashlight in your face.
Right, so someone signs a fast
There
lane.
you go. Right back at you, man.
Almost president.
Oh.
Stupid.
Man, got away with a lot of murders in 40 years.
Maybe it was Trump. They said he had a dark tan or a deep tan.
Like a
He was time
combo.
traveling. Maybe he just got that spray tan.
I would also, wait, hold on, I would believe it.
Radiation, he's fucked up his hair.
I would believe it if they're like, I was attacked by an Oompa Loompa.
Yes.
What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my god. They said Trump's a time traveler too. He came
Yeah,
back from
yeah.
like the 1700s and just saved the world. I don't know what happened.
I think he would be more educated if he was.
Why do you sound like
You
an
never
idiot?
know.
I mean,
You don't want to
that makes. Oh, I don't know.
You don't want to be that obvious saving the world because they were going to try to take you out.
I can't read.
The books have been burned. Literature has gone to shit.
They don't have literature.
They don't have
where he
literature.
comes
They don't have literature.
Thinking makes me hurt.
Talking like third person, but not. Oh fuck.
Oh, that's awful. Anyways,
We're going to hell.
Yeah, fuck them, bro. They got billions, bro.
they don't care about you.
Millions, not billions.
You never know. Man. Offshore.
Oh, we see
accounts.
those taxes.
Wait, did you guys hear about
This lawsuit.
No, the South America one, where they were taking the Trump things off the building.
Like they're literally taking them off.
Yeah, they were using a crowbar to pop them off
Oh shit.
Why is that?
Good, Donald Trump, man.
because they were trying to get rid of Trump's managers for the hotels.
Oh, we got a lot.
Set it on fire. Anyways,
Yeah,
what was
maybe,
that?
Why is the president?
I mean, he's being sued right now.
He's been
No, I mean,
When
as
isn't he
a
being
president, he's being sued directly. As
From who? Who's?
what was it? That woman? Was it the porn star?
Stormy Daniels.
Oh my god.
That's awful. Where did I lose some shit?
You know, some of the suspects
Oh yeah, go through
were
the suspects.
did have like military ties, so I don't know why.
Be revenge?
Well,
No, the documentaries that I
Revenge
saw
against
didn't specify the thing.
well, like as far as like the theories that they had on people,
Like what?
for the Zodiac Killer, at least. Well, they had the first guy sounds like it's the guy, honestly, because they had a friend of this guy come forward and talk about what he had expressed to him. So they had this guy named Arthur Ray Allen, and he was a potential suspect based on circumstantial evidence. They had the friend come forward and say that he had this conversation with him, saying that he had a desire to kill people using the name Zodiac, and he wanted a flashlight, or he wanted to secure a flashlight to a firearm for visibility at night. Like, come on. Like, everything is good.
But he also had a watch with the Zodiac logo on it.
That's right.
And
So-
he mentioned on a fishing trip about taking out a bus and having the shooting kids as they bumped out.
Oh yeah.
And that was a specific
Well, also
letter.
there was a thing about planting explosives for that same bus. I'm assuming it was the same bus because he talked about a route as well.
And he had an other than honorable discharge from the U.S. Navy in 1958. He got fired from a job as an elementary school teacher because of allegations of like sexual misconduct with students. It says most people that knew him thought he was like okay, but they did describe him as maybe
A
like
loner.
being like fixated on kids and like seeming angry with women.
Ugh.
Apparently never had a girlfriend or wife.
Wow.
So, if you think about it, somebody who's attacking couples,
I
you
was
know what I
gonna say
mean?
something real bad, but no.
Well, that sort of falls into the McDonald's triad. You guys know what that is? Links to cruelty to animals.
Oh,
And there's
that's
multiple
right.
of them.
Yeah.
Obsessed with fire setting, so they're very young.
Pyro. Yeah.
And bedwetting.
By the way.
And there's also violent behavior, particularly homicidal behavior and sexual predatory behavior, which he's one of those.
Right.
But
Conspiracy cat. He was a good drunk.
so I mean, so far we've had one check on that for Arthur, right?
Yeah, for military, and he did get arrested for doing something with a 12-year-old boy, but he was in jail for 2 years.
While the killings were
This was in
occurring.
1974, so did we have killings happen between like 1974 to 76?
Zodiac.
Trying to rule him out unless they're a copycat.
Unless there were small murders. Nope, nada. Why, as far as the full credited, no.
Because the other thing I was thinking when you said military is like maybe this person, when they started out, they were really young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe then they got sent off of the military and then you didn't see anything happen for
Right.
20 years
20 years.
because they were in the middle of their military career.
Right.
They
That makes
retired
sense.
or they came out of it and they went right back into
Yeah. Here's the thing that people don't understand is like, so I'm gonna go ahead and start tying it off with the family killer. So these killings that happen in Texarkana, right? And we're gonna go ahead and start tying them to the Zodiac Killer. One can say that this person who committed these crimes could have been really young, right? In order to tie them properly, if you wanted to tie the age that was in the description for the
He
Zodiac,
had to be super young.
he had to be really young, in high school young.
Yeah.
Access to a weapon, right? So if you think about Texarkana, small town, everyone has a fucking gun. You know what I mean?
Texas,
It's the South,
slash-
it's Texas, Kansas, whatever.
Arkansas.
You're talking about the South. Everyone has a gun in this type of neighborhood / rural area. So it's not far-fetched, right? To be able to obtain a gun. And also, it's back in the day, it's probably even easier to obtain a gun how it is now. Well, so
Easily, bro.
easily, even far
You don't
easily.
need paper.
Yeah. So with that, the motive, and a lot of people have an issue with this motive because you compare the Zodiac and the Phantom. People were like, well, these were couples. These weren't really couples. Well, they kind of were. I mean, they were in a very, I don't know, in a, how do you say, intimate moment, right? And so, I mean, that's one thing. He stalked the individuals and he caught them at a moment where they're not up to full wits, I guess. They're not alert. They're not going to be suspecting somebody's going to come and take them down when they're vulnerable, right? So, you know, again, the people forget. It's like, well, how does a teenager overpower these, you know, or this kid overpower these, like, high school kids or a little bit of adults, right? Young adults. Well, he has a fucking gun. It's intimidating. He could be a tall kid. He has a fucking flashlight shining in their face. They don't know if it's a police officer or not.
Yeah.
They're being caught in a moment where they're not aware, so it's going to cause confusion. They're being shot at. The last thing they want to know is, was that a kid shooting at me? You know, they're fucking running. They don't know. They don't give a shit. They're trying to run and try to, you know, escape with their lives.
Or so they may have known.
Or maybe they may have known the kid.
Someone in their class.
Yeah?
Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah. So the past, they're... Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. So, you know, there's things like that. People talk about... Also, another issue that people have is the weapon. Well, you know, he may not have an access to that same caliber gun. You know, maybe he had a different caliber gun. Maybe he lost it and his parents got a new one, or he got a new one. He got rid of the old one. You know what I mean? Trying to mix it up a little bit. They try to discredit the stabbing, you know, for the Zodiac Killer. They try to just, you know, well, maybe it wasn't the Zodiac Killer, maybe it was somebody else, right? Because again, it was stabbing instead of shooting, right?
That's right.
So, changing of a weapon. Maybe he got bored. Who the fuck knows? But that's what he ended up doing. He claimed credit. He was able to, you know, put some information as to what he did.
Yeah. He verified it.
So, yeah, and then he switched it from couples to this taxi driver.
That's fucking like, yeah.
That's
so
random.
What kind of MO changes that?
Yeah. So
where's the consistency?
There's no consistency. So you can say that this killer could have been evolving from choices of weapon, setting, to who he's attacking.
He's a killer, dude.
He's a killer.
That's all he is.
Yeah.
Like, he's not just. There's no description of it. What's fun?
And if Pandora is right, if he did join the military right after high school, that time frame matches why there wasn't anything, and then bam, all of a sudden he's in California, right, serving, I don't know, the Navy or something.
Well, the Zodiac Killer has 5 confirmed deaths, right?
Right.
But supposedly he claims 37. So
claims
I'm like,
more.
maybe while in the military some other shit went down.
Some other shit went down, and what could
Those
have
were
happened
also
during
victims,
that time.
but they weren't ever really factored in because it wasn't like, you know, here in some small town.
Right.
So the last that we hear of the Phantom Killer is in May of 1946. What happens in May in most areas?
1946?
No, just in May. May, June.
School? Yeah.
People graduate.
Right.
So
Could have been a graduate.
he could have used that to escape, right?
Right.
So military waits 24 years in between the killings, and
Or
Texarkana, got stationed in California.
right, but he also may have served in the Vietnam War. So what if he killed
Maybe just like
Vietnam?
he just got crazier being in the war.
Yeah.
He never stopped killing. It
He
just
never stopped
wasn't
killing.
like
He just
on U.S.
was
soil.
trying.
We're trying to explain the gap, right?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to explain the gap because a lot of people have an issue with that. And him serving the military, the huge gap of no murders. Where would he have been murdering without any suspicion? The fucking Vietnam War.
Someone who's just out doing war killings or war crimes.
Yeah, it would be like, oh, he's
day.
he's
Good.
fucking-
He's a good man.
He's hitting his targets. I mean,
great soldier.
he's a great soldier. I mean, that's, it makes sense.
Came back, couldn't take settling down.
No, it's like I gotta kill.
That's the killing. That's 17 years.
24 years.
Whatever.
Nah.
No, I'm talking about the Vietnam War.
Yeah, but it was 24 years between the two.
Yeah.
Take some years off.
Vacation. He made a family.
He made a career
He
in
made a
it.
career out of it. So that would explain the gap, right? That 17, 20 years,
I didn't have to watch it.
right? I mean, that's a good option that would explain why there's nothing happening during that time.
Well, there's similar things. The flashlight, right? The
Right.
hood,
right?
attacking civil
Couples,
whether
whether it be lovers' lane or not. I mean, they're an intimate moment. These people are not going to be looking out if somebody's going to come and shoot them. They're not expecting that.
So this is going.
It's
to
like
be,
you don't expect to get shot when you're taking a shit.
Wow. I mean, having
now I am.
Ever seen that or
That's the
dinosaur?
worst.
That or dinosaur, man.
I'm in a Bob. He was taking a shit, and then this big old fucking T-Rex just came.
Big old bear, man. I don't know what it was. Man. Ate him real quick.
He was attacked by a lion while he was taking a shit.
Shit smells good, man. Probably.
What did he have? He had a cheeseburger.
Yeah, triple cheeseburger.
You want me to link these together?
Yeah.
Definitive.
Go
here we
start.
So it should be like the whatever.
I'm gonna go back to the saxophone.
We're gonna see some
Saxophone.
Saxophone,
Yes.
right?
Just sitting on the saxophone.
Saxophone.
We're about to see some graphic math coming out of his head while he
Graphic
links all
math.
this together.
So the suspect in the Phantom Killers,
Right.
that had the saxophone that was trying to sell it
Yes.
at the pawn shop,
Right.
was a taxi driver.
Taxi driver. All right.
What if the Zodiac Killer was the kid, gave it to the taxi driver because he wasn't old enough to sell it at the time.
Uh-huh.
Taxi driver went in, he didn't sell it, he became implicated in it.
Right.
Oh shit. Alright.
Right?
All right. Go ahead.
Many years later, that same taxi driver,
Yes.
No way, dude.
Yes. Go ahead.
No.
No. I thought of this too. Go ahead. Go ahead.
he is in San Francisco,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
The guy
Yes.
jumps into the taxi, recognizes him,
Yes. Yes.
shoots him in the head,
Shoots him in the head. Yes.
kills him,
Kills him.
ties up a loose end.
Boom. This is time.
Damn. I don't have anything else to say. No more final thoughts.
That would explain. That would. A lot of people don't understand why the taxi driver is so important,
You was the catalyst.
or even why the taxi driver.
We kill him.
Why kill him?
He's the one that stands out of all the other.
That would make sense. That saxophone ties in the fucking pawn shop.
So,
I'm done.
Well, tune in next week.
I believe you.
Where's my mic, man? You should drop this.
Just talk over him.
His entire modus operandi.
No, but the priest. What'd you say? This next thing you shot at? I don't know.
Oh, the possible Earl Van
Yeah. Van
Best. It's got to be the greatest name ever.
Van Bass.
His kid outed him in a book.
And then?
Oddly named the most dangerous animal.
What do you mean?
That's what he named the book, the most dangerous animal.
Oh, the most
Huh.
dangerous.
Which would be what, like humans, mankind?
Yeah, well, the Zodiac Killer references that book.
He is that animal.
But he was trying to link the one of the letters. They found DNA on one of the stamps, so that eliminated a bunch of suspects. But the thing that gets this guy in the ring with the best of them is his handwriting. It's supposed to match the letters.
That was sent.
Yeah, specifically on the wedding certificate.
But, yes.
But, there's a huge but here.
Oh, of course it is.
Wedding certificate was actually filled out by the priest.
By the priest.
That married him.
That.
Huh.
So.
It's a goddamn
the
priest.
fucking priest.
It's a fucking rabbit hole, man.
Where is this priest coming from?
Maybe he's the same
south?
person. Maybe the Zodiac is the priest. He's all in
how
one.
reliable is like?
I mean,
the
there's a
handwriting
cross,
person?
there's a circle, and then there's a cross.
Well, the Zodiac is a pagan thing, right? It's a pagan symbol. Damn it, son of a...
But I mean, when you think about it, the cross can represent
The seasons? That's why the Zodiac.
I mean, if you're going to,
Crosshairs,
if it could be Jesus and the circle is unity, and these people are breaking the sanction of marriage by having premarital sex, and then this priest is going out. The fucking priest is going out executing, being fucking judge and executioner, judge, jury, and executioner.
This is a sin.
Think about it.
Well, like, why the name, like, Zodiac Killer, too?
Well, he named himself the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, but why? You know? Like, was he just like, that sounds cool?
No, it's the 60s, late 70s. There's like the whole thing about your zodiac sign.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was just fed up with all the hippies.
Bullshit.
He's clean cut.
He's from the 40s, right? So that's all hippie talk.
You guys are ruining the sanctity of marriage.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
It all makes sense now.
Stabbing a
Guys.
motherfucker real quick.
So what do you
I
guys
love you,
doing?
babe.
What did I do?
This is a sin.
Premarital sex? What? None of my watch.
No.
That's so different.
Maybe he was a virgin, bro. He got jealous,
Now we're
bro.
looking for a
Maybe.
priest that was in the military.
He serves in the military. Who has the morals?
That's like a 0.1% chance, dude. But it could
What are
happen.
the odds of that?
That's
Yeah, it
happen
could
now.
happen. Yeah, I mean,
'Cause
what are
it's-
the odds of that? I mean, I'm going with that theory. That theory sounds really solid.
Most likely to happen.
I mean, it sounds nuts, but I mean, most things are in life nuts.
Unexplainable.
Yeah,
If
It's
we
like
did,
a-
we had the answers, we'd be rich.
yeah.
But there's not
It's like-
enough answers in too many people, dude.
What are the odds of finding a walnut in a pistachio bag?
Pretty.
Like what?
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
A percent?
are they coming
I
from
don't
the
know.
same
That doesn't
factory?
even make sense. I knew you were going to say some shit like that. I'm like,
But what if you have like a nut allergy?
That's why they
And
have
you're
to put that
fucked.
on the label.
Contain
I do have a nut
beans.
allergy, but I still eat the walnuts, whatever, dude.
Hopefully, your family can sue on your behalf.
Nah. Nah, they're not gonna do shit.
So, what are your closing thoughts, Si? What are your thoughts?
What pisses me off is
Go ahead, go ahead.
what
Who's grinds my gears?
no, what pisses me off is this guy's.
Mo.
I'm assuming he's dead already,
Yeah,
but
okay.
that nobody's been.
You'd be close to like 90 now.
He would have been like already. I'm assuming he's dead, right?
Right.
But that nobody's. He's the most famous serial killer ever known to man, right?
Right.
Besides like, who else could you think of? And so the fact
the Ripper is my-
Jack the Ripper.
Which
Right.
also got away with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, nobody knows who.
time travel.
He could be that. Goddamn. For me to think that he's the Phantom Killer, it could be if he was a young man doing that already. You could be young and kill people. It's not like you
Yeah.
have to be a certain age to be crazy. And the fact that both of them had the similar mask, like an executioner's mask, and his MO wasn't quite consistent. I think they may be the same person. But you know, we're naming priests and we're naming somebody from the military. It's like, was this guy really that good? Like, he wanted to be caught, but not quite, because he wanted to continue his spree.
Right.
And that pisses me off that we couldn't get this guy. He's like, who knows where he is? He could be dead, and he got away with 38 murders, supposedly, is what he. I don't have an answer for this guy, but I think, according to what I've read, Yeah, he was almost a near genius, and with the ciphering, I think he was well educated, but also so smart that he thought he could get away with murder, like something really deep.
Yeah.
And so I don't know who this guy is, but I think he was good at what he was doing. He was just playing us for
fools.
He's running us around, and nobody's caught him, and that pays kudos to how well he planned. I don't think he planned shit, right? Doesn't know. I think he was just, I'm just gonna kill people today.
It could have been like one of those things, like heat of the moment type of thing, or.
Well, if it's heat in the moment, like, what pissed him off then? Like, what was like his angst from, right? Is it from the military? Is it from like he couldn't get with women, so he thought that the couples made him really jealous, so he couldn't stab them, and stabbing is more intimate than killing somebody with a gun. So maybe that's why he changed it. Like, I'm gonna get up and close,
like a weird beta type of thing.
Well, one of the murders, he was driving by, stopped, and came back around.
Opportunity.
So he saw that they were parked there, and he's just like, you know what?
Yeah, vulnerable. Of course, you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
That's like,
he knows there's.
I don't think he would go out of his way to like plan like I'm gonna be here at this time,
Right.
at 5 o'clock, and like I'm gonna get somebody walking down the street with a flute and kill.
He's an impulse killer.
A trombone. I'm gonna kill. I hate trombones, so I'm gonna kill that guy.
Yeah. Fuck trombones.
So those are my thoughts. I think he was clever enough for people back in the 60s and 70s. And according to us, we have his DNA, but they don't know who the person is, so there's no reference. They just have a blank.
Unless they DNA everyone and then cross-reference with possibly family members.
That's what pisses me off. That's what I have to say. So,
all right.
Not gonna happen.
What?
They can DNA everyone.
Yeah, no, it's not.
You have to have a criminal history.
well, that's us, right?
Hey, baby, the apple won't fall too far from the
They have my
tree,
thumbprints.
This is very good. Well, assuming
They have your oh fuck, man.
you're assuming that he has offspring.
Yeah, maybe.
But if he does, then yeah, the apple wouldn't
Or
fall.
it doesn't have to be offspring, but just relatives.
Or relatives.
There could be
Do you guys think
Maybe
that
he
his-
came from a Jackson family, you know?
Uncle Jim, dude. You know.
There was an Uncle Jim, and that Uncle Jim had a father named Jack the Ripper.
That was his great grandfather.
Seems legit.
When was Jack the Ripper? Like in
Oh, that's another thing, man.
1800s,
That's a
like
whole other
you're
fucking
going
thing.
back.
1850s. So
Like,
it could have been like
can we even-
six.
No,
That
you
was
can't,
what?
you
You
can't
said-
link him. No, you can't link him.
It has
No,
to, man.
no,
can't
no,
read
no.
The family
You know what I'm
No.
saying? You
No, I already know what you're doing.
blood.
You know where I was going.
Because Jack the Ripper used
Right,
to.
explain, go.
No.
He was a hybrid of Jack the Ripper
Yeah.
and a crazy person.
He was a doctor. He was a dentist. I'm thinking Jack the Ripper. And what was that guy named from Chicago?
Summer Sam?
damn it.
Sam? Oh,
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Maybe it wasn't.
The one who had the house with the crazy...
So-
the Killer
so
Hotel,
fucking
or whatever
up.
it was called.
I was listening about him today.
Who was his name?
But no, that'll be another episode. Because
Devil in the White House? That's a book, right?
No,
Yeah,
it's
something like that.
I was-
Demon in the White House. It's a White House, right?
No, it's the Murder House of Chicago.
Yeah.
The
But
Murder Mansion.
there's a book
The
called
Murder Mansion.
that Leonardo DiCaprio just bought for filming rights, based on that. Devil in the White House, something like that. Are you looking it up? I'm way off on
Devil
that.
in the White City.
Devil in the White City.
H.H. Holmes.
H.H. Holmes, yes.
All right.
How far is that?
That's 3 H's for like...
No. I mean, I'm talking about between this guy and Jack.
Another 40 years.
God damn it.
He could be Batman. You know, Batman's old, but he's still got some
He
tricks.
died at 34.
Dang, oh, never mind.
Never mind.
Fuck. Okay, that goes that.
Well, there's also a possible tie-in with Jack the Ripper and the Killer from New York.
No,
That was shortly after that.
no. Between Jack the Ripper and H.H. Holmes, they overlapped a couple of years.
Okay, what could have
So
been?
It may have worked.
Not like how. Okay. Maybe. We gotta investigate that.
But
680? Jesus.
what?
Yes.
I mean, these are the first cases that involved actual serial killers, right? Because most serial killers prior to that, they knew their victims.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's why they had trouble finding and locating people.
Right.
that's right. Because you know, it's like, you're not gonna suspect a
Friend
person that
or-
you know.
Yeah.
Well, usually it's you suspect someone that you know, not some stranger on the street.
Yeah.
Because
Because of the proximity.
Yeah.
True.
Because most murders are committed out of passion. Either you have something that I want, or you took something from me.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm gonna stab you. That what you're thinking?
That was fucking creepy, man.
It was really intense.
So I looked a little possessed there for a second.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I'm farting.
Just saying, man. That's the way shit goes down. You get stabbed, man. What do they say? You took something from me. I'm gonna take a chunk out of your neck, dude.
Are you alright, man?
I'm alright.
You stabbed me. You stabbed me. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fart.
What's that?
He might shit his pants, is what he's saying.
Oh no, I'm good.
No.
Oh, you're gonna shit your pants. Oh, I'm like,
The ghost escaping him.
That's why the curtains were moving. The ghost of your farts, bro. They live on, dude. All right, next one. Pandora. We've been wasting too much time.
I didn't know what to say to all that. I don't know, man. I kind of still like the theory that, Hoffman had said where, maybe he was tying up loose ends with the whole saxophone thing.
That's a good one. That was.
I do still think that, like, maybe he was military or, like, that he started off real young.
Yes.
I think he probably was just one of those people that was kind of a psychopath, like, early on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
meant
just
to,
grew.
just, like, wanted to have the urges to kill.
Yeah.
And the military fucked them up too.
That too.
You're right.
Yeah.
And it just.
And, like, the whole, like, if the killings were all inconsistent, like, shooting, stabbing, or blunt objects, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody who's in the military, like, they could have killed a lot of different ways. You know what I mean? Like,
you kill the way you have to
maybe
kill.
it's feeling experimental, know, and like
that's,
if it was
that's fucked up.
If it was premeditated, like I think it kind of was and wasn't. You know what I mean? Because it was just like
he knew he was gonna kill people, but
like
how
he knew he was going out to kill somebody. He was just kind of like
who knows?
doing it on the
he was excited. How am I gonna do this one, dude?
More than likely, he was prepped. He had a gun.
Like he had his stuff ready. I don't think
he had the mask. Though, like apparently, like he prepared in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of pre-prepared, right, in a way.
But like the whole like ciphers and all that.
Right.
Like I think he felt like people owed him something, or that he felt superior to people,
and so he had to fuck with them.
He wanted to be like, look how shitty you are at catching me.
I'm smarter than you.
I'm smarter than you, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Back in the 60s and 70s, people were smarter, man. Like, I'm gonna just get these fucking.
Yeah.
That's different. I mean, he obviously like had something against couples or people. You know what I mean? Like that had something he didn't have.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
A little jealousy.
So he was a hater.
Yeah.
He was a.
He was a hater.
I like
Haters
that.
gonna hate.
Hate.
So yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I already told you my theory, and I said what it is. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
The saxophone thing was a good tie.
It could have been a goddamn priest.
And more likely military background, possibly.
I think so. The ciphering and his MO, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of like bits and pieces of like we have it here, but we don't quite have it.
It's pretty ballsy too to attack like two people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you hear people like they'll go after like one chick by herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like he's going after like two people.
Maybe he thought that he was just like
couple.
He's like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like
let's go for it.
Throw the hunt.
Shoot the guy first, and then do what you will with
the lady, because they're not gonna. I mean, and then that's it. It's over. Yeah. That's what happens. I mean, who knows what they say, dude?
So we'll leave it at that. Tell us if you agree or disagree. Hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Hasta luego.